Feedback Learnex, English forever.
This time of year, we can find Christmas everywhere. That is why today we're looking at Christmas symbols, their origin, and why. During the holiday season, you can't call Christmas or a posada to any meeting that does not have punch. Piñatas and the lights that adorn the facades, houses, and Christmas trees around this holiday season are all known things we see. But where were they born? For example, punch is not only traditional for Mexico, but it is enjoyed around different countries around the world. It is for this reason that we will tell you a little more about its history and how it got here. Punch traces its history to India. Since its name in Sanskrit is pink, it's translated into Spanish as cinco. That refers to its 5 original ingredients, which were alcohol, sugar, water, lemon, and tea, or different spices. This drink was brought by the sailors of the fleets of the British East India Company to England. Once they arrived in these British lands, the punch began to spread to different countries across the continent. It was for this reason that when the Spaniards arrived in America, they brought with them the knowledge to prepare their characteristic concoction. The Mexican version. However, Mexico's recipe is very similar to the original one from India or the British one. The truth is that Mexican fruit punch is a combination of European traditions with indigenous culture. It is this mixture that, like many other aspects of our current culture, gave rise to this Christmas drink. In our country, it is traditional that the punch is prepared with sugarcane, prune, apple, cinnamon, and brown sugar. It also has tejocote and guava, and it is common to serve this hot or cold drink in clay jars for drinking. In addition to the ingredients already mentioned, it is common to add some kind of alcoholic beverage, such as rum. Other alcohols with which this drink can be combined are wine or whiskey, some even mixing them with champagne or brandy. The origin of Christmas cards. Nowadays, most of us congratulate each other by sending WhatsApp messages or leaving a note next to an image or GIF through our social networks. But until practically a decade ago, the same thing was to do it by sending a Christmas card by post. This custom was carried out for more than a century and a half, although it should be noted that during the first 50 years, it was something carried out exclusively by the wealthiest classes of society. Christmas cards were invented in 1843 by Sir Henry Cole, who commissioned his friend illustrator John Callick Horsley to draw and paint a typical Christmas print, with the purpose of a printing press to make several copies and subsequently write on them some brief wishes of happiness, sign them, and mail them to family and friends. The first Christmas lights. The first Christmas lights appeared just 3 years after Thomas Edison patented the incandescent carbon filament lamp that he would successfully market and that we know as a bulb. We mention Thomas Edison because it was his partner, Edward Johnson, who in 1882 decided to illuminate the Christmas tree he had placed in the garden of his New York house with a few incandescent lamps, thus initiating another of the traditions most popular in Christmas today. The origin of poinsettias. It is another Christmas element that originally had nothing to do with such a celebration and that became a symbol when these dates arrived. Commonly known as Easter flower, Christmas flower, or poinsettia, this plant, originally from Mexico, had an important symbolism for Aztec culture, being used as a medicinal remedy and offering for its gods. It was in the 16th century when the Franciscan friars who were evangelizing the population of Taxco de Alarcón, Mexico, decided to use it as a floral ornament during the Christmas holidays. But to whom we owe its popularization and that it adorned almost all homes during Christmas, it was the American Joel Robert Poinsett, who was sent by his friends President John Quincy Adams as ambassador of the United States in Mexico between 1825 and 1829 and it was on one of his many trips that he made in the country when he met this colorful red leaf plant that caught his attention. Really, Christmas is full of symbolisms, which is why it is very important that in your learning you have more knowledge and vocabulary and talks about this and various other topics that are everyday use and that is the essence of the Learnex community. Thank you for tuning in this week. Join us next week on Thursday night at 9:15 p.m. as we look at 2020 Movie Watch Countdown. Merry Christmas, Learnex community. See you next week.
Feedback Learnex, English Forever. Estamos en sintonía. Feedback Learnex, English Forever. Feedback Learnex, English Forever.